Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into a really complex stack of legal documents out of Arizona. And, they tell this absolutely incredible story of one man's fight against a system that he claims is totally rigged against him. So let's get right into it.
So we're not going to start at the beginning here. Instead, we're jumping right into the deep end with the core accusation at the absolute heart of this legal battle. That is a heavy charge, right? We're talking about a deliberate, coordinated plot to obstruct justice. It's a huge claim.
All right, so to really get what's going on in this saga, you first have to meet the man behind these pretty serious claims.
At the center of all of this, all these documents, is one person, Keith Hartl. He's a homeowner in Glendale, Arizona, and believe me, he has taken on a truly extraordinary challenge. We're talking about a battle that, according to these filings, spans multiple cases and multiple courts.
And here's what makes this story even more wild. Mr. Hartl is fighting this entire thing by himself. He's acting pro se. It's a legal term that basically means he's his own lawyer. So he's going up against seasoned legal pros and even whole government agencies, all on his own. It's incredible.
So who exactly is on the other side of this fight? Well, his legal filings lay out this really wide-ranging group of opponents.
Okay, look at this list. The filings describe this incredibly complex web of people, a bunch of interconnected LLCs, and even government agencies. And Hartl's complaint? It lumps all of them together under one single label. He calls them the enterprise. His whole argument is that they're all secretly working together.
So, how does this alleged enterprise actually operate? Well, according to the documents, they don't use conventional weapons. They use the legal system itself. Now, the legal glue holding this whole thing together, his central claim, is a violation of the RICO Act. And if you're not familiar, that's the law designed to take down organized crime. He's alleging that these aren't just a bunch of separate disputes, no. He's saying this is a coordinated criminal enterprise, and they're engaged in a pattern of illegal activity.
And you see, to win a RICO case, you can't just point to one bad act. You have to prove a pattern. That's where tables like this, straight from the court documents, come in. He lists out specific predicate acts, which is just a fancy term for the individual crimes, that he claims establish that pattern. And we're talking about everything from fraud and extortion all the way to abusing the legal process itself. The filings also talk a lot about economic duress. And check this out for an example. One motion describes a $36,000 water bill for a property that didn't even have water service. It's just incredible. The whole point, he claims, isn't just to collect a debt, it's to bleed someone dry financially so they simply can't afford to fight back anymore.
Okay, but this might be one of the most serious allegations in the whole pile of documents. We're talking about the systematic diversion of mail. This quote right here claims that critical court notices were intentionally sent to the wrong address. Just think about that. It's a tactic designed to make sure someone never even knows they're being sued.
And the result of that is, well, it's pretty simple, right? If you never get the notice about a lawsuit, how can you possibly show up to court and defend yourself? You can't. And that leads directly to something called a default judgment, which means you lose the case automatically without ever getting to tell your side of the story.
And get this wasn't just some theory he had, it actually happened. We've got a proposed order here from the U.S. Court of Appeals that backs him up. A judge found that a default judgment against Hartl was void, totally invalid for that exact reason. He was never properly served the notice.
So while he's fighting all these battles on multiple fronts, the documents show a major turning point, a significant victory for Hartl against one of the key players he names in his big case.
This part of the fight started with something that sounds kind of routine, right? A municipal abatement lien filed by the city of Phoenix against his property. And here's the amount of that lien. Just over $3,000. Not a life-shattering amount of money, but Hartl decided to challenge it. He took the fight to federal court. And the result was, frankly, stunning. This proposed order lays it all out. A U.S. District Court judge didn't just tweak the lien or disagree with it. No, they declared it vacated, declared void, and unenforceable. That's about as total a victory as you can get in court.
But hold on, the court didn't stop there. It went even further. Based on the evidence Hart presented, the judge found that the city's actions actually constituted racketeering activity. So, the court awarded Hart what's called treble damages. That's 3 times the amount of the original lien, and that's a penalty specifically used in racketeering cases.
So, you might think a huge win like that would be the end of the story. But
It wasn't. That one victory didn't end the larger war. And based on the most recent documents we have, this fight is still very much ongoing.
I mean, just look at the timeline from November 2025. It's this rapid-fire back and forth. A new foreclosure threat comes in. Then Hartl has to file a motion just to force the court clerk to accept his paperwork. And then he fires back with these defiant legal demands directly to his opponents. It's relentless.
And in his response to that foreclosure threat, you can see his whole strategy. He makes it crystal clear that he doesn't see this as just another legal action. He calls it a continuation of a well-documented pattern of harassment. He's tying every single new action right back to his big overarching RICO claim.
And that last point really shows you the immense challenge for anyone representing themselves, right? The fight isn't just with the lawyers on the other side, it's with the gears of the system itself. I mean, the simple act of getting a piece of paper filed with the court can turn into its own separate legal battle.
So when you put all these documents together, it leaves us with this one big fundamental question. This whole saga isn't just about one guy's property anymore, is it? It's really about justice, about access to the courts, and about what it really takes for one person to stand up and challenge a system they believe is being turned into a weapon.